having Hamas is a terror organization committed to our destruction. They fired thousands of rockets at our cities. They dispatched scores of suicide bombers against us. They perpetrated this crime. And Hamas is an organization that's not just your run-of-the-mill terror organization, if a terror organization can be called that. It's a genocidal terror organization. It calls for the murder of Jews worldwide. So we have to take very strong action against Hamas. The Prime Minister will take action against those who perpetrated this particular crime. He's taking action right now in Judea and Samaria and the West Bank to make sure that he can dismantle the terror infrastructure that Hamas has built there. He's also taking action right now to go after the terrorists in Gaza who are continuing, even in the last couple of days, to fire rockets at our cities. So he's taking action against Hamas, and he'll continue to do so because Hamas is committed to our destruction, and we will defend ourselves.
It's a couple of simple questions that a lot of the world is asking today. For instance, in the battle between Israel and the Palestinians, who is telling the truth? And in the battle in Iraq and Syria, and with ISIS involved, did the leader of this group actually show himself recently? They're still trying to figure this out. We need to start getting some answers. Joining us now, the former Special Forces operator, national security expert, founder of IMS Security, Aaron Cohen, joins us on MidPoint today. Aaron, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Aaron, that is the first simple question that I want to put to you when it comes down to Israel and the Palestinians. Benjamin Netanyahu certainly did something which a lot of people did not expect this weekend when he took the arrest of 6 Jews in the killing of an Arab teen, confronting their own extremists. Hamas has their extremists right now who seem to be taking their own actions unilaterally away from the government or away from any sort of leadership whatsoever. Are the people here actually in charge, or are they dealing with both sides, Israel and Hamas, fringe elements, if you will, who simply are so bent on revenge that they're going to do whatever they want whenever they want it?
Well, there's definitely fringe elements on both sides. Obviously, the Palestinians seem to be able to carry out terror attacks regardless of the fact that they're aligned with some type of government in the West Bank, which is Hamas. I think there's a fundamental difference, which is that we've noticed a very on the Israeli side, which is just a true extension of Israel's democracy, which is radical Jews went off, and apparently they've gotten to a point now where they've killed a boy. The Israelis were very swift in their action in terms of arresting them, investigating, and getting them to admit and turning them in, or bring them to justice, and that's, I think, one of the fundamental differences between these two sides here. It's been, almost a month since these 3 boys were kidnapped, hiking in the West Bank. One of them as an American citizen, and yet even though the Palestinian president has condemned it, the fact is we still don't have any leads as to where these 2 gentlemen are. Israel presented the intelligence, yet they haven't been brought to the forefront. So I think there's a big difference here in terms of commitment, if you will. Israel and Prime Minister Netanyahu, who is very aggressive. He served in our special forces in Israel, and he's committed to Israeli security. The fact is, he turned over the Jews who were responsible for this very quickly. So I think there's a very clear divide in terms of how these 2 countries operate. Clearly, Israel is a democracy. What we've got is a Western frontier or some kind of cowboy frontier going on in the West Bank, just tied in with lies.
How much of a shock is it, though, to the Israeli people themselves that Netanyahu takes this sort of action, as swift as it is, but certainly as I talk to a lot of friends, both here in the United States and overseas, they say that they're stunned that it happened. They went right after their own, says something about maybe a change in Netanyahu's leadership. Give us a little bit of your leadership. Give us a little bit of your insight into that.
Well, I believe that Netanyahu, and Israel is a democracy. We've elected our leadership. It's a Western country essentially functioning in the Middle East, surrounded by, I just like to say a bad neighborhood. But at the end of the day, at the core of the Israeli roots is a democracy. And with a democracy, you've got powers and you've got accountability. And there's no accountability in the Palestinian side. And so as far as the shock of Netanyahu going up there, I don't think people are that shocked. I think they may be a little surprised because there's some nerves that have been fried with what happened to Naftali and these 2 other boys, or these 3 boys. But at the end of the day, Benjamin Netanyahu is an elected leader who understands the importance of being able to carry out law enforcement and having accountability. You know, he's not going to let Israelis run around murdering Palestinians. He's not going to let Israelis run around murdering Palestinians. And if they do, he's going to bring them to justice. And it's the same thing that we would do here in America. So, you know, who's surprised about that? Who's not surprised about that? I'm not surprised, and I think Israelis. I think it's important for Israelis to and for the rest of the world to see how swift Israel does act.
Let's deal with
we don't tolerate this kind of thing.
Let's deal with what some people would consider a cowboy element here on both sides, because it would seem that there is that restraint is disappearing a little bit every day, both on the Israeli side and on the Palestinian side. Is it not fair to say that that restraint and holding in those extra groups, those people who want revenge, immediate revenge, that's going to be the key to keeping the lid on this current strife between the two sides?
Absolutely. I think the restraint is the main fiber that distinguishes these two places. There's no doubt in my mind. You framed it perfectly. Regardless of what your ideology is, regardless of what the Israeli ideology is or what the Palestinian ideology is, and this has been going on for 3,000 years. I fought with the Israelis. I've certainly worked very closely in the Palestinian communities. And at the end of the day, it's what you said, which is how it's dealt with when there's a fringe element that goes in extremis to begin to take the laws into their own hands. And Israel will not have it. They will not allow their people, regardless of the fact that they're Jews, no matter how pissed off that they are, go in and take the law into their own hands. And when they do, the reaction is swift, because that's the key difference. And I think you absolutely nailed it.
Is there any reason whatsoever, and again, I'm going to take one side of this issue for the moment, but is there any reason whatsoever for anyone connected with the Israeli government or the Israeli people or the Jewish community, if you will, to trust anything that comes out of the mouth of Abbas at this moment or anybody from Hamas?
No, there is absolutely no reason for anybody on the Israeli side to trust anything that comes out from the mouth of Hamas, because Hamas is a terrorist organization bent on the genocide of Jews abroad, moving or pushing Israel into the ocean and destroying it. It's part of the doctrine. They manufacture this ideology and continue to pump it into future generations of children. It's in their media, it's in their textbooks. This is not a group that you can negotiate with. This is a terror organization hell-bent on the destruction of the Jewish state. There are no negotiations with a group like this, regardless of how they want to be portrayed. The fact is that Gaza is a terrorist-run area. And the Gazans, or the people of Gaza, have elected to put this terror group there. And the reason why is because they work on fear. Israel knows this. Israelis have known this for a long time. And we're not, this is nothing new for us in Israel. We're very used to this and these types of lies and deceit, which is commonly practiced and just the standard with terror organizations such as Hamas. So,
okay, I'm going to have to take it now from the other side, because there are those who follow the Palestinian side who will say that so long, why should they trust anything that comes out of the mouth of Israeli leaders?
Well, the reason why is because Israeli leaders don't send children in suicide vests to go blow up groups of innocent civilians. The reason why is because Israeli leaders have if anything, systematically attempted to sit down historically with the Arabs, with the Palestinians. Believe me, Israel wants nothing more than for fighting to stop. Israelis couldn't care less. They just want to play ping pong on the beach in their Speedos and listen to their trance music. That's Israel. Israel is a European country. They want nothing more than this entire waste of fighting to just stop, but they can't, because security is the fundamental element. Why? As far as the Palestinians not trusting the Israelis, well, listen, this isn't a young conflict, and it's certainly not going to go away anytime soon. And the reason why is because we're talking ideologies. There's always going to be one side that claims rights. There's always going to be another side that claims rights at the end of the day. There'll be another side that claims rights at the end of the day. You know, it just comes down to fundamental security, and you know, so we just do our best to press forward.
I only have about a minute left, so let me ask what a lot of Americans are asking right now. What, if any, actions should the United States do at this moment with regard to supporting Israel, or are we simply talking about something that is too early to consider?
Americans or here in the U.S., we need to wait and just see and let this play out. Israel has always had a very good grasp. Israel has always had a very good grasp on its security. Having said that, Israel and America have always had a very strong relationship as far as national security. Israel continues to operate as the United States' forward operating area in the Middle East, if you will. But I think at this point it's premature, and I think that the United States just kind of needs to hold back, let the Prime Minister continue to move the pieces around the board. He's brought several Jewish extremists to the forefront, and is going to prosecute them, without any nonsense, and go after them if they were in fact involved with the killing. And I think it's just a matter of kind of sitting back and letting them do what they need to do.
The world will watch and wait. Aaron, I know we had so much more to talk about. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We'll have you back again real soon, talk more about what's happening in the Middle East. I thank you so much for your time and for your expertise.
Thank you for having me.
All right. It is indeed something that we're going to watch and wait and see what happens. Next up, Muslim leaders tossing around strong words about a self-proclaimed caliphate. But in essence, are these words having any effect or just dust in the wind? Because you also have to consider now a leader who may have shown his face for the first time. That and a whole lot more as MidPoint continues, where every day we question everything.